Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo. Brought to you by Island Automotive, Coastal Appliances, the Emerald Princess II Casino, Somerset Mortgage, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care Immediate Care, and by Loco's Grill and Pub. Now here's the voice of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Kevin Price.
Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price on location at Loco's Grill and Pub. We will be here each and every Sunday night at 6:30 for the entire season. This segment of the Rocky Hidalgo Show is sponsored by Island Automotive, Coastal Appliances, the Emerald Princess II Casino, Somerset Mortgage, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care, Immediate Care, and of course Loco's. And now joining us on the show is the head coach himself, Coach Hidalgo. First of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here tonight, but also welcome to Glynn Academy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, it's good to have you here, Coach. I thought what we would do here in our first segment is just kind of go back to square one and talk about how you got here and let you give your background to folks. They still may not know that you're here and what your background is. But if you will, just take a few moments to go back maybe even to your playing days and talk about where you played and then bring it forward through your coaching career.
All right. Originally I'm from Louisiana. I played high school football at Denham Springs High School right outside of Baton Rouge under a guy by the name of Harold Butch Wax, who's in the Louisiana High School Hall of Fame. And from there, I played football and coached at Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. I was an offensive lineman there, coached the outside linebackers for a season before coming here to Georgia. I spent 18 years at Walton High School and outside of Atlanta in Marietta. I coached the offensive line. I was the defensive coordinator, I believe, for 8 years and the head coach for the previous 5. I think in my 18 years there, we won 7 or 8 region championships, played in the semifinals twice, and the state championship game one time.
And, of course, while you were there under Ed Dudley for several years as an assistant, and then you replaced him as the head coach. But talk about maybe some of the things that you learned from Coach Dudley under him that maybe you tried to instill when you got in charge of the Walton program, but then maybe some of the things that you'll bring here with you as well.
I think it goes back a little further than that. I think Ed coached for some great coaches here in the state of Georgia with Ben Scott and Jerry Sharp, Steve Brooks. He coached for a lot of great guys. And at Walton, we were fortunate enough that T. McFerrin came over and coached with us one year, that his son, Rob, worked with us at Walton. So I was very fortunate enough to work with Ed, who followed a lot of great coaches, and then have a chance to work with T. McFerrin. We really modeled our program at Walton High School after what Dave Hunter did at Brookwood High School. So we spent a lot of time with the Brookwood staff, and Coach Hunter remains a very close friend of mine. So I think from all of those things, between what I've learned from guys like Dave Hunter and Ed, obviously most importantly, and then to guys who are kind of my contemporaries in coaching, guys like Shannon Jarvis, Jeff Irwin at Lasser High School, Chuck Goddard, who coached with me at Walton High School, there's just I've been fortunate to have a lot of great coaches around here to work with, and one of the things I've learned is you got to teach these kids to believe in something and believe that they can win.
And obviously, I know all those coaches, and they've all have had great success. But I know in your introductory press conference here, you mentioned a couple things that I think people know about Coach Dudley, and that's that he's always going to have tough football teams that are going to kind of be more physical than the opponent. And you touched on those kinds of things. Are those two qualities that you'll try to have in your program here at Glynn Academy?
Yes, I mean we're going to be trying to be a physical football team, and some people may see that the things that we're doing offensively, we're a little different than what we did at Walton High School, where we were a Pro I team. We'll be for the most part be 10 personnel, which is 4 wide receivers and 1 running back. But our focus is still running the ball, playing hard-nosed defense. We preach to the kids every day. We got to go out and bloody people's noses, and when we talk about that, we talk about going out and being the more physical team, the physically dominant team on the field, and let our play speak for itself.
And once again, we'll remind everybody that you're listening to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show here with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Sports Network. And Coach, just talk about coming from Walton to Glynn. I know it was right there at the end of spring, I think late April when you got the job and you had to move right into spring practice, and we'll touch on those things in a moment. But I think maybe, frankly, even myself, I was surprised, hey, he's got a great program at Walton. Seems like he would be in great shape there. But I know this job here at Glynn was on your mind even the last time when Coach Ridings got it. So just talk about making that move.
Well, I think for me personally, I've my family and I have come here for the last decade. I love the community down here. It reminds me very, very much of my home in Louisiana. And I have some friends who coached here, who told me about the talent that they had here, the type of community they have here. And for me, it always was a very attractive job for me. I think it's a job from the outside. I always felt it was a job that you could come down here and win. And I think it's a job you can come here and compete for a state championship. And that's kind of what lured me here. The community, the lifestyle. The community's been great. My family loves it here. I love the people here. And I really believe we have a chance to build a winner here, a team that can compete at the highest levels in the state of Georgia.
And obviously, the region is changing and so forth. And you mentioned that at your introductory press conference too. But some good teams coming back in the fold, Coffee and people like that. But you feel like Glynn Academy has the chance to be right there competing amongst everybody.
Yeah, there are no easy weeks on the schedule. We're going to have to play 10 weeks. And I don't know if there's anybody that's going to go through the schedule that we have. I mean, we picked up, Camden County and Wayne County. Those are our non-region games. So I'm not sure there's anybody that could go through that schedule unscathed. Our kids are going to have to grow up fast. We're going to have to grow up in a hurry. We're going to have some good things are going to happen to us this year. Some bad things are going to happen. We have to survive success when it occurs. And when something bad happens to us, we have to understand that's not fatal. We can live to play another day. A bad play doesn't have to lose a game for us. And those are the things that we really have to learn with our kids. But the schedule's brutal. It really is. The flip side of that, it's going to be fun to come in here. I came down here to coach against the best in the state of Georgia. And, I mean, we're gonna get a chance to play those guys every week. I mean, it's murderer's row every time we set foot on the field.
And high school and football in Georgia is great, regardless of what classification or what section of the state you live in. But I know one thing this part of the state's known for is just having great athletes, with a lot of speed. It's really no different than North Georgia, I don't guess. But is there a difference between North Georgia and South Georgia football?
I think there are differences from being down here. I think there's talent in both areas. Anybody who says there's not talent in North Georgia needs to go up and look at some of those teams. I mean, that's why they're winning the state championships in 6A. I think there are a lot of great coaches. What I have seen, the biggest difference, what I've seen, the emphasis on just the program as a whole in North Georgia. And I think that started with Dave Hunter at Brookwood High School and really set the tone for all of Metro Atlanta. And I think Jimmy Dorsey was winning at McEachern, and then you had Bruce Cobley at Harrison. But what ended up happening was, we started winning at Walton, and Cobb County football has improved a ton. And at that same time period, Gwinnett County has improved. North Fulton, Forsyth County. I mean, you've got good football being played up there all across Metro Atlanta.
All right, well, Coach, we're going to take a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to bring things forward, going through your spring practice, and also bring things forward all the way to summer camp. So stay with us. There's more to come on the Rocky Hidalgo here on the Bishop Sports Media Network. Right now, these words from our sponsors.
For all of your automotive repair needs, visit Island Automotive, 1950 Demery Road, across from the fire station on St. Simon's Island. They're a family-owned and operated business that has been delivering great service not only to St. Simon's, but to all of Southeast Georgia for over 25 years. Your complete auto repair and auto detailing facility. Online at islandautomotivecenter.com or at 912-638-0888. And go Terrors! Coastal Appliances is your one-stop shop for Whirlpool washers and dryers, Whirlpool refrigerators, and so much more. Coastal Appliances offers free delivery and service after installation and have also been in business for over 30 years. 4727 Altama, next to Sonic, and on the web at appliancesbrunswickga.com, or give them a call at 912-267-0132. Coastal Appliances, Glynn County's only specialty appliance store.
Hop Hop aboard for Texas Hold'em tournaments, roulette, poker, lots of slot action, food, music, and more. Labor Day weekend, Sunday, August 31st, 7 p.m. Cruises depart from Brunswick, Georgia. Call 800-842-0115 or visit EmeraldPrincessCasino.com. Must be 18 years of age and present a government-issued photo ID to board.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price, on location from Loco's Grill and Pub on St. Simons. This segment is brought to you by Island Automotive, Coastal Appliances, and the Emerald Princess 2 Casino. And Coach, we talked in the opening segment just about how you got here, but you got the job, I guess, in late April. Spring practice was scheduled right after that, I think a week or two, maybe not even that. But so you literally hit the ground running coming from Walton to Glynn. Obviously, it was great to get in spring practice, but just talk about what you were looking to accomplish right out of the gate with the Red Terriers.
My first day on the job was May 1st, the first day of spring practice. My goal was to get to know the kids, learn their names, let them learn a little bit about me, see what kind of guy I am, what kind of football program I was going to run, and then learn who they were, not individually, but kind of collectively as a group, what I had and what we needed to work on, because that was a big part of where we were going to go throughout the summer.
And just talk about some of the things that cropped up during spring practice. What did you see? What did you learn? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, the one thing I saw is that they're good players here. We have good players here, and our kids want to win. I'd heard from one of the perils that I'd heard from people is that there was apathy at Glynn Academy, and the kids just don't want it bad enough. I don't believe that. I've worked with these kids. I think they want to win. I think we may have some issues about knowing how to win and knowing how to compete at the highest levels. But, maybe those are things. But those are things that can be corrected. We're going to teach them how to do those things. But our kids want to win. The other thing I learned is we have great kids. And we have kids that come from all across the spectrum socioeconomically. But they are great kids. It's as good a group of kids as I've ever worked with. And, I want to do well for them. I mean, everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants to win on Friday night because it looks good. You don't have people calling you and putting moving signs in your yard. But we have a lot of good kids, and I want to win because, frankly, these kids deserve it. They deserve the opportunity to go out there and win, and hopefully we'll go out and do some good things, and they'll get a chance to this year.
So how is the whole adjustment period, just maybe in the spring and also throughout the summer? I guess it's been a whole process of you getting to know your personnel and them getting to know you and your coaches, but how has the whole adjustment been?
We're behind, and I'll just say this, from behind on a lot of things. I mean, Glynn Academy's had a football team, not really a football program, and we're trying to build a program. We're building a booster club from the ground up, developing a strength program. I mean, some of those things, one of the things the county has done is they've committed to renovating the old Glynn Middle School gym to build a new football facility there. So, in our facility right now, we can only work out about 24 kids in the weight room at a time. We've got 100 kids on the team. So there's a lot of things there that we're behind the eight ball on. And we're trying to play catch up, and obviously with the late hiring date, it makes it tough. But we're just trying to take really day by day, whatever's in front of us today. What's the task at hand? Let's get that taken care of the best way we possibly can. I'm a big believer in Patton. Patton was always said that a good plan executed with enthusiasm and vigor today is better than a great plan tomorrow. So we're going to execute our best plan today with as much enthusiasm and vigor as we can.
All right, you're listening to the Rocky Hidalgo Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. And, Coach, I was just going to ask you talked a lot about general things, but in terms of the X's and O's, where are y'all at in terms of installing your offense and defense? I know you got to work with that right away in the spring because I missed the spring game, but I understand you threw it all over the lot. So I knew you were getting your playbook in at least at that point.
Yeah, we actually hired Sean Jackson, our offensive coordinator, the second day of spring. So we switched offenses during the middle of the day. And so we went into the spring working on kind of a pro I style offense, but that's not really what I wanted to do here. I wanted to do something that was going to kind of jumpstart the community that people would look around and get excited about. And so that's what we did. And I wanted to find somebody who was going to do something, be dynamic on offense. So that's what we did. And you know, we're working at there. We can't get everything in. We're just not enough time in the time that was been allotted. But I think people will see it's going to be fun. Our offense is going to be really fun when they go out there. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to take shots. We're not going to sit. We're not going to play the game on our hands, and we're not going to be afraid to coach to win. We're going to try to win. Defensively, we'll be a 3-4, which is moving from the last few years. You guys, Glynn Academy's been a 4-2-5, so we're moving to a 3-4, trying to get more athletes on the field. The other thing that you'll see, I think, is we'll probably be more aggressive. We're going to see a lot more pressures out of our defense. We're going to have a lot more guys, a lot more man coverage. And we're going to put some pressure on our secondary to go out and compete and run to cover and make plays down the field.
And I'm sure the offense, from that standpoint, it's exciting for kids to go to practice and be involved in something like that. I know a lot of teams go into the spread. That's partly why they do it, to try to create some fun for kids at the high school level. A lot of people to touch the ball, but from what you just said, it sounds like it may be even fun to play defense and to get all the athletes on the field. But is that the kind of kids that you notice right away that Glynn has? Is the kind of kids that fit those schemes maybe a little better than something else?
I think we just have. I think our kids needed something. Change. I believe in change, and sometimes when you've been doing one thing over and over again, and you haven't had success, you just need to change. Not because all offenses are good, all defenses work, but sometimes you just need to change to show the players that there's a legitimate change that's occurring. And that's what I felt. I felt we needed to take a change and go in a different direction with everything we're doing. Everything we're doing, we're wiping the. People are going to see new emblems, new decals. Everything we're doing. Coach Jackson said to me the other day, the word of the year is Genesis, a beginning, and that's what we're talking about. It's Genesis. We're starting from scratch, everything we do, and some of it, hopefully all of it, everybody will like. But I'm sure people are going to look around and say that's a tradition. That's not what we've done. Well, the new tradition today is we're going to start winning, compete at the highest level. So we're changing that. We're wiping the slate clean.
Now, one thing you didn't change, I noticed, though, that you made Coach Bill still the defensive coordinator, and, of course, you brought in the new offensive coordinator, but I don't think that was your initial plan from what I've read, but I guess in getting to know Coach Bill, you thought he was more than capable of still handling that same position that he had?
Yeah, I was looking to bring in two coordinators, and one thing I learned, I like smart coaches, and Josh is a very, very intelligent guy. And after speaking with him, that was one of the things that I recognized about him, how intelligent he was. He's also a hard worker, and he cares about the kids. And that was important to me. I mean, it was important to me to just kind of give them an opportunity. I think people need opportunities in life to show what they can do. I think they've been pretty good after watching tape. They've been pretty good on defense, and after speaking with him, he obviously has understanding of some X's and O's, and he and I will work with the program, work defensively together as we move forward, and as he really starts to learn the scheme, I'll just turn more and more over to him.
All right, and so you're literally going to be the head coach that kind of oversees everything, not necessarily coordinating either side. Is that correct?
Well, I'll be, I kind of go where my role is to go where they need me. And sometimes you may see me, if you come to practice, working with the offensive line, and sometimes you may see me working with the defense. And I think that's what good head coaches do if they have the ability to do that. I mean, if they have coaches who allow them to do that. I think we have to go where you need me, and sometimes having that perspective where you're not nose to nose with a kid in a drill is good, and sometimes you need that perspective to take a step back and look and see if things are good and see if things are bad. And that's kind of the way I did things at Walton. It worked real well for us there, and if we can kind of get to that point here and allow me to kind of manage my coaches, that's really where I'd like to go with it.
All right, Coach, let's step aside for one more quick break. We'll be back with the Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo here on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Happy Friday, sports fans. This is Paul Sanders with Somerset Mortgage, and I want to remind you one of the best ways to build wealth for you and your family is to own your own home. It's not easy to save money, but the smart folks at Somerset Mortgage know how to help you buy a home with little or no money out of your pocket at today's great fixed rates. To find out if you qualify today or what it takes to qualify tomorrow, call us at 638-2020. We are locally owned, so when you come to Somerset, you'll know you're home. That's 638-2020.
Bruce Kennedy Tire is your hometown destination for tires. Michelin, Goodyear, and all the brands you trust. But don't let the name fool you. Bruce Kennedy Tire, located at 2928 Norwich Street, does more than just tires. Brakes, alignments, repair work, and more than I can mention. Bruce Kennedy is locally owned and operated, so you get the best service in Glynn County. So give Bruce a call at 912-264-6578. Bruce Kennedy Tire, a name you can trust. Get affordable health care when you need it. At Apple Care Immediate Care, our team of compassionate health care providers is dedicated to treating each patient with the highest standard in health care. Located at 1111 Glencoe Parkway, Apple Care is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Apple Care welcomes all walk-ins from pediatric to adult ages and accepts most insurance plans. Visit us at applecaredoctors.com and like us on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Red Terror Coaches Show with new Glynn Academy coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price on location at Loco's Grill and Pub on St. Simon's. This segment is brought to you by Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care Immediate Care, and Somerset Mortgage. And Coach, I guess obviously you've been doing stuff all summer. This day and time, if you take a break during the summer, you're getting behind. But just talk real quick about what y'all did this summer. I know I saw you. You weren't there. I think you were moving from Atlanta that weekend, but at the Brunswick Passing League. But I know y'all probably spent some time in the weight room. Just kind of talk in general about how you occupied your time this summer.
Well, we went. We worked on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 3 days a week. We brought the kids in, and we'd go 8:30 to 11 o'clock. Actually, from 8 to 11, we fed them breakfast 8 o'clock, lunch at 11, and we would work on the field, in the weight room, and condition. So we did football practice, weight room work, and some conditioning throughout those 3 hours we had them up there. We participated in some 7-on-7 tournaments at Brunswick High School at Pierce County, and we practiced some organized team activities versus Prince Avenue Christian, where Coach Jeff Herron is. When they were here at camp, we did some things with them, helmets only work. And so that's generally what we did this summer. It was one of those things with me being in transition. There wasn't a whole bunch of time. I was in town for 3.5 days, out of town for 3.5 days. So we probably didn't do as much as we usually do or we'll do in the future. But we'll still keep a Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays as we move forward. We brought the middle schoolers over on Tuesdays. We had about 60 to 70 middle schoolers that came and worked out with the coaches every Tuesday for 2 hours. And that was fun. And if we keep those kids, if they'll stay together and come to Glynn Academy, then we've got a chance to have some really good football teams. There's some talented kids down there running around at our place on Tuesdays. Yeah,
I know that Glen Middle's had a strong program, and obviously that feeds right into Glynn Academy. Coach, you've been in, I guess, real football practice, no voluntary stuff the last 2 weeks. Did y'all do any kind of overnight camp, or did you kind of turn them loose every day and just come to work every day?
No, I don't. I'm not a big believer in overnight camps. I know a lot of guys do that. Generally, I think it's guys are better off if they sleep in their own bed, eat their own meals, stuff like that. We brought them in and we practiced football. We fed them and did those things. But for the most part, we didn't go away. I'm not a big believer in midnight practices and any of that stuff. I don't believe in voodoo. I believe in hard work. I believe in dedication. I believe in great coaching and great effort. That's what I believe in. So we didn't do any of that stuff. We just showed up at our place and worked our tails off, and hopefully it'll pay off when we line up against McIntosh this Friday in Wayne County next week.
I'm sure it will. Coach, you've been in camp, in pads, for basically a week. Friday, August 1st, I think, was the first week. Just talk about things you have to deal with these days in terms of, obviously afternoon thunderstorms, but then heat and humidity this time of year. You really got to be careful, especially when you go to those full pads, right?
Yeah, we regardless about any kind of regulations or stuff, we want to take care of our kids, because if they get in a role where they're surviving, they're not thriving. So we want to make sure that they're out there. They get plenty of water. We give them breaks so that they're able to work and get better. If they're exhausted the entire time, they can't improve. So that's one of the things we work on. I'm a big believer in, and there's only so much you can do with the kid before his body starts to break down. So, you'll see we did a couple of real hard practices, then we start backing off the kids a little bit because we want them to recover. We always want to be in a situation where we're practicing hard, practicing at game tempo. And when kids get tired, I mean, they can't do it. So that's a big issue for us. The other thing is just injuries. We make sure the kids are going in and seeing the trainer every day before and after practice and taking care of their bodies and nutritionally, giving them some food.
This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. And, Coach, we've got a few minutes left before we wrap it up here in Week 1. But you mentioned the scrimmage. Why don't you give all the Glynn Academy fans just the basics for the scrimmage, who you're playing, times, all those kinds of things?
Yeah, we'll play McIntosh County on Friday night at Glynn County Stadium. And what people will see, it'll be a scripted scrimmage. We'll kick off in the first quarter. Actually, McIntosh, I believe, is going to kick off to us in the first quarter. We'll kick off to them at the second quarter. What we want to do is make sure all of our special teams get an opportunity to get on the field so we can get them on tape. In the first half, you'll see ones-on-ones. It'll be varsity on varsity. When we start the third quarter, we'll actually split the field, and our young kids will go on one side of the field and scrimmage McIntosh on one side, while we'll do situational scrimmages with the varsity on the other. We'll do 3 plays of goal line, 6 plays of third and long, and then we'll work our protection, punt protection, field goal protection, and then we'll allow McIntosh to do the same thing. We'll come back the fourth quarter, and it'll be twos and the rest of our kids in the program. Our goal is to go out there and see what we have, get everybody away healthy, and get everybody in the game.
And I was going to ask you about the format, and I was going to kind of ask you about your goal. You touched on those things, but I guess it's kickoff 7:30?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So need everybody to be out at 7:30 this coming Friday night to see a new era in Glynn Academy football. But, Coach, just talk about the kids probably want to win, and I'm sure y'all want to encourage them to go out there and win. But at the end of the day, you want to get things on film and learn from it. So just touch a little bit more on what you really want to try to get done next Friday.
Yeah, we want to practice. We want to hit somebody else. I mean, honestly, we start Monday working on Wayne County. So McIntosh, we won't spend 3 seconds talking about them offensively or defensively this week, because it's a practice for us. And anybody who views it anything other than a practice, that's what it'll be. We'll go out and we want to see some things and see how some kids perform, and we want to do that stuff. But our goal is to beat Wayne County. That's really our goal. We want to play hard, and I want to get an idea, because I want to get an idea kind of how we are, gauge ourselves against another team, because it is a big difference from Metro Atlanta down here, and I don't know the teams, the talents, and all that stuff. So I just kind of want to see us against somebody else and see how we do when the guy across from us isn't wearing a red helmet.
And I mean, I know the kids are probably tired of beating on each other, but from a coaching standpoint, do you really feel like we are ready to go out there and play, or I guess you're going to find out, huh?
No coach is ever ready to play. They always want another day. I want to get into game week preparation, a normal game week preparation where we're preparing for opponent, because I think that's when your football team makes the most jumps, when you start really winning, trying to win games. So we'll start getting ready to win, to beat Wayne County. That's the only thing that matters for the next 2 weeks.
If you had to play the Yellow Jackets tomorrow as Glynn Academy's head football coach, what would be your biggest concern? What are some things you think you need to shore up here in a quick time to get ready for a kickoff in Week 1?
Well, our offensive line, we've got to do a better job execution right there. It's a big change from what they've done in the past. They ran a lot of gap schemes in the past. We're primarily a zone offense, a lot of pass protection. They didn't do a whole bunch of that. So the learning curve is very, very steep right now with those guys. Defensively, the fits on defense are a big issue with the 3-4. We've got to do a great job. Fit and finish, as we talk about. You got to fit and finish on the ball. The other thing is coverage. We play a lot of man coverage or one-on-one coverage out there. So kids are learning how to, what we call run to cover, where they're just, they've got to get on a guy's hip and turn and run until the whistle blows. So there's some of those things that we're learning, but we're making strides and all that. We'll see how many strides or how much we've done on Friday night. I mean, at the end of the day, everything we've done is applicable to playing McIntosh, and we'll go out there and play hard. I want to see us play hard, play with enthusiasm, and come away healthy. Those are the 3 things. Anything else is a bonus.
All right, well, Coach, we appreciate you being here with us tonight, and we look forward to talking to you each and every week as we go through the 2014 season.
Thank you.
All right, then. Thanks to you, everyone, for listening to the Coach Hidalgo Show here on the Bishop Media Sports Network. remember to come out next week here to Loco's Grill and Pub on St. Simon's and join us every Sunday night at 6:30 for the Coach Hidalgo Show. I'm Kevin Price, signing off.